When you look at someone who seems to have everything together, I'm talking makeup always done, flawless, not a pore in place, hair smooth, full. There's not one day that you would ever catch her showing roots. Clothes tailored, babe. You are not going to find her clothes on Shein. And no, there's no stain on her clothes ever. Speech. She has mastered the switch. You might be wondering, what switch? The switch in how you talk to a maid versus how you talk to someone that you actually respect. That switch. And tonight in the Midnight Library, we'll be talking about just how dangerous this combination can be. The perfect woman and the housemaid. Our story starts with a girl who is hired as help for this rich lady. This lady seems to have the perfect life compared to her. Like this girl, this help, this rich lady's life is 1,000 times better, including her husband. He's got all the superficial qualities that you would want in a mate
for reproductive purposes.
Handsome, muscular, perfect teeth, and he's also loyal. When you see them together, you can almost feel the love, almost see the love oozing out of them. So this rich lady has the perfect house, the perfect husband, the perfect life. How could she be so unhappy? Why is she always throwing a tantrum? Why is she always picking fights out of nothing? Maybe she's crazy. Maybe she's cuckoo up here, right? Would make sense because that's what all the ladies in the neighborhood's been talking about. This is the setup for the book The Housemaid, one of the most read, most talked about books for years now. And in a few days, there will be a movie. Sydney Sweeney will be in it. Amanda Seyfried will be in it. And also this guy. That's the best that I can do. I don't know how he does it. His facial muscles is something else. Girl, I hope that this movie is good because a part of me feels like when I watch the trailer, I just feel like it's so different from the book. So if you don't want any spoilers, I would suggest to not watch this right now. But you need to circle back later. Now, let's get right into the story. The book starts with a dead body in the attic and policemen inside the house. We don't know who is narrating this for us. Is this the perfect lady? Is this the perfect husband? Or is it the help? Or is it the landscaper? So let me just use they because we don't know yet. This narrator is scared, hesitant, and they are this close to running away from everything. But they are also this close to getting arrested. It looks like there was two people in this house and now one of them is dead. They are of course the first and prime suspect. A policeman takes a seat next to our narrator. Apparently the sofa is 5 figures. Everything in this house, let's just assume that is super fancy. This policeman says to the narrator, so let's go through this again. When did you find the body? Remember, they are hesitant, our narrator. They're thinking, wait, hold on. Should I hire a lawyer? Should I ask for a lawyer first? Was he supposed to offer me a lawyer? I can't quite recall how this goes. But they answer anyway. About an hour ago, I heard a sound. The policeman leans forward, staring into their soul, and he's just practically waiting for our narrator to break, waiting for them to admit that, yes, I did it. But our narrator says, that's it. That's all I know. The policeman looks almost disappointed, but he breaks eye contact and his attention snaps back to his colleague who seems to have found something in this house that made him go pale. So what the fork happened? Who died in the freaking attic? And who is our narrator? And why does it sound like this is not their first rodeo? For all those questions, we have to reverse time and go back 3 months ago. Let me introduce you the soon-to-be housemaid, Millie. Millie is 27 years old. She's just out of prison for what? We don't know yet. But she's on parole. One wrong move, she would be back in prison. She needs to show that she's living well and she's not in trouble. The moment that she sees an online ad about someone looking for a housekeeper, she jumps at the chance and she actually gets an interview. Tell me about yourself, Millie. Her interviewer says. Her interviewer is the perfect woman. She lives the perfect life and she's sitting on the expensive 5-figure couch that we were just talking about. It's caramel color. It's leather. It costs more than you will ever make in 1 year. This rich lady is wearing a cream blouse and a white skirt that sits just below her knee. Everything about this lady just screams expensive, soft, smooth. She's the perfect woman. She is Nina Winchester. Nina has blue eyes, blonde hair, and she sports a fashionable bob that, you know, if you don't look too closely, you might not be able to see her double chin, okay? Millie is telling Nina like, yeah, you know, I grew up in Brooklyn. I did a lot of housework for different people. I love children and pets too. The resume that she is showing Nina and telling her about is mostly fake. Nina grew up in Brooklyn, but you know, not the bougie part like Nina also apparently grew up in. She didn't do a lot of housework. She was actually fired from her waitressing job after coming out of prison, serving a 10-year sentence. She doesn't mind children and pets. It's just that, you know, she's desperate. She needs this job and she needs a place to stay. This is a live-in position. She only needs to clean and cook, do some light cooking. So this is perfect for her. She's an excellent cook. Nina does not cook. Nina is like, honestly, we almost never have a good proper meal at home. A home cooked meal. I mean, who has the time? Millie's like, bitch, what the fuck? What? I have the time. I don't have all the money in the world to eat out all the time. It's safe to say that Millie is low-key judging fair, you know, but I want to ask you, where do we draw the line between judging and wanting to be that person that we are judging? Millie thinks to herself, Nina may look the way that she looks now, but if you take away the bob, the clothes, she might look very ordinary. Millie also dresses down on purpose for this interview because, you know, she does not want her employer, her future employer, to feel threatened by her. Imagine hiring an attractive young maid for your house.
It can't be good for your loyal husband, right?
So Millie decides to basically dress like a grandmother. Long chunky wool skirt, white blouse, puffy sleeves. It looks like she cannot decide to go to her own wedding or go for a picnic. Dirty blonde hair in a bun with the... I fell in love with my psychiatrist glasses. It's a lot. Millie needs this job, but she also low-key is sitting there like judging her future potential employer. Nina, you don't have a job. You only have one kid. And with all this time, you can't cook or clean. Girl, that could never be me. That is the vibe that Millie's giving, okay? It's a little, okay. I know we be judging rich people. I get it, but I don't know. Nina then asks Millie if she has a car because she will need to pick up her daughter from school, play dates, and all that jazz. Good question, Nina, actually. Millie does have a car, no worries, but it's 10 years old and it's also her apartment. It's been a while since she's been able to stretch her legs to sleep or, you know, not having to bring pepper spray every time she needs to use the public toilet. So Millie says, yes, I do have a car. And Nina says, great, then I'll just provide you for a car seat for Cecilia. She only needs a booster seat and stuff like that. Nina's going on and on about the seat. But Millie, she's out of it, okay? She's more interested in the surrounding. They are conducting this interview in her house, in Nina's house, all right? And I think that this is the most posh, luxurious environment that Millie has ever been in by far. And just the living room alone, you have the flattest, largest TV screen, and you have speakers in every nook and cranny of the living room. This living room cinema is not going to fail you like those like theater with the we have a surround sound system where one speaker is always not working. Okay, then there's the fireplace with so many pictures that they have been together as a family. And of course, the ceiling is high with the chandeliers. Don't you think so, Millie? Nina says, and Millie's like, what the fork? Like, what did I miss? And she just says, yes. I'm so pleased that you think so as well. Let me give you the tour. At this point, Nina has not given Millie a green light yet on the job, but this is going as good as it gets. Nina stands up in her high heels. Yes, she's wearing high heels at home, and that is a little weird. But Nina is not that tall, but it's like her presence makes her feel so tall. You get what I'm saying? Some people feels like that. Nina walks around the house like she's trying to sell Millie the house. If you want a mental picture, I would picture a house from All's Fair. If you watch the show, the houses and interiors are very, very posh. And I feel like in the trailer, it's just not posh enough. And you will see why, okay? Nia's house is giving that. Ground level is where they were conducting the interview. They have a huge living room, TV, next to it, a kitchen. Second floor, you have the master bedroom, Cecilia's room, so their daughter, her husband's home office, and then a guest bedroom, and an actual home theater. This is all very fancy, and Nina knows it. Nina lives there, but she looks at Millie like, you know, she's looking for some sort of enthusiasm from her, some sort of reaction, and Millie gives her that. She is trying to work for this lady. She needs to be excited, right? So she said, yeah, this is also fancy. And suddenly, when they finally reach the final door at the end of the hallway, all the enthusiasm, all the excitement go out the window. Nina's hand is just at the doorknob. She's not opening the door. She's not turning it. She's just standing there. And Millie asks, would this be my room? Nina opens the door and says, sort of. This room opens to a dark and narrow stairwell. There is no light bulb. This room's door is also so much thicker than the rest. It's giving vault. What the fork is inside this vault? A staircase? Nina continues, your room is just upstairs. We have a finished attic as well. So somebody is gonna die here. But who? Okay, so let me just give you the floor plan, because this is very important. They walk into this dark room, they walk up the stairs, and now they're at the attic, right? The ceiling is very low. You can't stand at full height in there. If you are claustrophobic, this will be your worst nightmare. In the attic, there are 2 rooms, 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. They are not connected. Think about it. If this was meant to be a bedroom, why would they not be connected, right? Inside the bedroom, there's a light bulb. The bedroom is also so small, and it's on top of the attic. So her bedroom's roof is slanted, and the far end only goes up to about her waist. Inside her room, there's a bed, half a bookcase because, come on, it's slanted, a small dresser, and I believe a fridge. Millie tells us, the reader, the room is modest. What the heck, girl? No. I know we be judging, but we deserve more. Keep that in mind, okay? Nina has not given Millie the green light yet. She's still not sure if this would be her room. She thought that, you know, this job is too good for her to pay in this house. But looking at this crappy little not modest room, she thinks to herself, maybe I do have a chance at this, but it's creepy. She doesn't know why, but there's something about this room, just the vibe is off. It's not cozy. Nina frowns and tells Millie, almost embarrassed or guilty, sorry, it's small, but you would have a lot of privacy in here. Privacy. Yes, Millie would get a little small window overlooking the backyard of their house. Put up your hand. This is how big the window is, just a little bit bigger. Okay, through that window, all you will see is this. He's a landscaper, okay? He is a magic Mike in the backyard. They have the biggest backyard in the neighborhood, and they have the hottest backyard attendee. So what do you think, Millie? Do you like it? What do you say? If you're Millie, you say yes. You say yes, even though you know that nobody is going to hear you if you scream in this room. And nobody is going to see you even if you try to open that little window. That fear, you just have to deal with it. After the tour, Millie finally gets to meet Nina's daughter, Cecilia. What are we thinking about? What do you think about a rich lady's daughter? Only daughter. What would that person behave like or look like? A brat? You are very close. She's a brat in Victorian clothing. Cecilia has hair that is so blonde that they almost looked white. She got blue eyes like Nina, but they are more pale. She looks like a doll. Millie calls her creepy girl number 3. Nina calls her Cece. Cece just keeps staring at Millie. It's safe to say that the situation is a little creepy. It's a little weird. You got a doll staring at you. But Nina breaks the tension. Do you have any question, Millie? No, Mrs. Winchester. Please call me Nina if you're working here. I would be so silly with you calling me Mrs. Winchester like I'm some sort of rich old lady. I have a good feeling about this, Millie. I really do. I promise you will be hearing from me soon. And with that, the tour was over. But as Millie was leaving, she's like, oh, who's this attendee? He is big. He's wearing a t-shirt, but that t-shirt is not gonna stop you from seeing the shape of his muscles and tattoos on his upper arm, just peeking out like that. This guy sort of just looks at Millie and he just stares at her like she's unwelcome in there. Think about staring in this property, all right? If you want to live here, you need to get used to being stared at. That's what it's giving. But Millie goes home. I mean, she goes back to her car. She lives there, but it's not giving, oh, come and take a look at my car. This is what I do. And after watching that video of that TikTok, it makes you feel like, wow, I should make full use of my car. Spend Saturday in my car. No. She usually eats sandwiches in her car because it's easy and it's cheap. But every time she takes a bite, she just tries to forget how sick she is of sandwiches. And today's lunch is no different. Sandwich. Her phone rings and she's using a flip phone. And no, not the Samsung Flip. She got the real flip, the real deal. Millie picks up and she hears, okay, I'm going to butcher this, but Wilhelmina Calloway. That's her full name, girl. That name is low-key giving ancient, but slay. Millie's not the biggest fan of her name or her family. They cut her off a long time ago. They have not talked since. The woman on the line is just trying to tell Millie that, we have found someone for the job that you applied for, so forget it. This is the last interview after Nina. She is getting more and more desperate. All she wants is a fresh start. She's a hard worker and she knows it. She knows that she can do it if someone would just give her the chance. And the phone rings again. It's Nina. Nina says, so if you're interested, we would be delighted to offer you the job. Millie is on top of this world. What do you mean? Why are you saying delighted? She's aesthetic, but she's so rich, right? She must have done some sort of background check or something. Or maybe she didn't. Maybe she is very busy. Nina continues, so are you interested in the position? And Millie says, I am. I definitely am. I would love to work for you, Nina. Nina corrects her. Work with me. And this is where it all starts. So the next day, Millie gets to work. She drives over to Nina's home and the gate is locked. It was not like the last time where the gate was open. She could drive in and she has to call the Smexy landscaper, the backyard attendee, to open for her. But he just turns around and be like, what the F? Excuse me. She says, it's my first day working here and Mrs. Winchester is expecting me. Let me in. She may be mad, but she's like, oh my God, look at the bicep. It's big as my thigh. Ooh, tall, muscular, black hair, mid-30s, olive skin, rugged and dark eyes. Not dark eye circle. He opens his mouth and he just rapid firing Italian. So it looks like he does not speak English. So I guess it went like this. Vaffanculo. That's the only Italian word I know. Besides pasta. Grazie. That's it. He apparently does not speak English. So she starts to do pointing. Me. Here. Lock. And he finally gets the signal and he goes and opens the door. He does not look so happy about opening the gate for Millie. She wonders why, but there's no time for that. Millie is taking all of this in, just looking at the house. Nina's home will be her home too for some time, for at least 3 months, and she will be staying. at the attic, the landscaper introduces himself as Enzo. He helps her carry her bags to the house, and Nina suddenly just appears just when Enzo was trying to tell Millie something, but it was as if Enzo saw a ghost and he just quickly goes back to the front yard as if nothing happened. Nina's like, oh, I'm so glad that you were here. I thought we really had a connection. And she grabs Millie's elbow and just leads her into the house. And this time, compared to the last time that she was here for the interview, the house looked quite different. It's very messy. Last time that she was here, it was spotless. Now there's dirty cups on the table, newspaper, magazine everywhere, pizza box, clothes, garbage. What happened? It was as if they had a frat party in Nina's home, and it's a little weird. Millie is like, you know what, let me just drop my bags in the room and I will get to cleaning. And Nina whips out an iPhone and she hands it to Millie. I got you this. I could not help but notice you were using a very outdated phone, and if I need to reach you, I would like you to have some sort of reliable means of communication. I even added you to our family plan, so don't worry about the bills. It costs almost nothing. Millie's like, okay girl, but she hears someone walking down the stairs from the second floor. Guess who? The perfect wives, even more perfect husband, Andrew. Nina calls her Andy. Andrew is a very, very successful businessman. It's like you can Google him and one of the search suggestions would be net worth after his name in it. You know, that kind of rich. Andrew took over a family business long ago, and since then he had been able to double their profits. Millie and Andrew, they sort of just like look at each other, and Andrew seems almost shocked that Millie is here. He's like physically stunned. Andy, come meet Millie. Nina is like the most excited person in this room. Andrew approaches the ladies and he says, hi, Millie, is it? I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Andy, I told you about her. I said we needed to hire someone to help clean, cook, and Cecilia. I'm sure I told you. Upon hearing that, Andrew just relaxes a little bit and he holds out his hand for Millie to shake. But all Millie sees is, I feel like we need the music, piercing brown eyes, full set of brown hair. He got that sexy clef on his chin. I don't know why, but they keep telling me this when it comes to Andrew. But yeah, that's that. And Millie thinks to herself, oh, damn. He could have anyone he wants. He's way more attractive than Nina here. He could literally have any 20-year-old supermodel if he wants to. So I guess we gotta respect him for not doing that. Girl, if you only respect a man because of that, how f***ed up are we? Millie tells Andrew, nice to meet you,
Mr. Winchester.
Please call me Andrew. And at that, Nina's face sort of just like twitches a little bit, like, wait, is she jealous? It's not like Andrew's checking her out. Why is she getting some sort of reaction out of this? This must not be the first time that Andrew had asked someone to call him Andrew, right? Maybe she was even also corrected once when they first met. Why is she doing that? But anyway, Millie has finally met the entire family at this point. In this book, Andrew always leaves for work and then he just like magically appears. But every time before he leaves, he always kisses Nina. It's giving movie, because tell me why. He blows her a kiss from the front door before leaving. It's either cringe AF or it's sweet. According to Millie, quote, this is a man who loves his wife. After Andrew leaves, Millie thought that it would be nice to just tell Nina that Andrew seems nice, and that dark, suspicious, perhaps jealous look sort of just returns to Nina's face, and she says, do you think so? Well, yes, I mean, he seems like... How long have you been married? Because y'all look like y'all on honeymoon or something. Nina ignores the question and asks, you were wearing a pair of glasses at your interview, weren't you? Yes, I fell in love with the psychiatrist's glasses. She was dressing down. There was no need for her to do that or to lie to Nina about it. But actually, this is not very important. But I just want you to know that Nina seems to be avoiding the question of how long she had been together with Andrew, okay? I feel like some things in the book is kind of redundant, but also I'm redundant. So let's continue. Millie gets settled in her room. Although she has like 2 suitcases full of her lifelong belongings, it's heavy. And Nina is just at the back there. Oh my God, I'm so glad that you are here. I'm so glad. I can't wait for you to start cleaning. When they get to the attic, the room, you just can't wipe that guilt off Nina's face. She knows that this is a complete downgrade, 100 times downgrade even from the sewage system in this house. The rats probably live a better life than Millie. So there's a bed, there's a dresser, and there's a bookcase and a mini fridge. She opens up that fridge and it's empty except for 3 tiny bottles of water. Nina says, good hydration is very important. Obviously, it's your fridge. You can put anything, whatever you want in it. I thought that I would just give you a head start. Anyway, I will let you get unpacked and then get started cleaning the house. I'll be preparing for my PTA meeting tomorrow. Of course, Nina is the vice president of the Parent-Teacher Association, right? But just before Nina leaves, she just keeps reassuring Millie that she's so glad that Millie's here, and she tells her that, Millie, you are a lifesaver. There's something weird about it, just how glad she is. But just as Nina is leaving the room, Millie notices something even more off-putting. Her bedroom's door locks on the outside. Nina, why is the lock to this bedroom on the outside rather than the inside like a normal room? Oh, I'm so sorry about that. We used to use this room as a closet. Of course, we would want to lock from the outside, but then I decided to convert it to a bedroom for the higher help, and I guess I just never switched the lock. Millie's worst fear came true. If she were to scream at the top of her lungs, nobody would hear her or see her from that tiny little window. They could even lock her inside this room if they wanted to. This is a death trap. But then again, why would they want to lock her in this room? Could I have the key to the room? Nina's like, I don't even know where it is because it's not that important. But Millie insists that she wants a copy. Why? What do you expect to be keeping in this room that you don't want us to know about? Millie needs this job, but she cannot afford to upset Nina. But isn't this the bare minimum for Millie to have a copy to her own room? I mean, key to her own room. Nothing, but I don't know. Was all Millie able to get out before Nina finally laughs and says, I'm kidding. It's your room, Millie. If you want a key, I'll get you one. I promise. This is the Nina that she will get for the entirety of 3 months. She's hot one second, cold another. You don't know when she's joking or when she's serious. You don't know whether to take what she say at face value or not. She expects you to sort of correct her yourself in your head like you are some sort of mind reader. But no matter what, Millie is determined to make Nina Winchester love her. After Nina leaves, Millie also finds out another thing. Once she closes the door, she sees that there are marks on her bedroom door. These marks looks almost like finger scratches, like somebody was scraping at the door as if they were locked inside this room and they are trying to get out. But Millie steps out of it. Maybe she's just being paranoid, it's just old wood. But the room starts to feel stuffy, so she goes over to the window and she tries to push it open, right? It's this small, but it's a window, but it just won't budge. The frame of the window is painted shut, and through that window she sees Enzo looking up, and it looks like he sees Millie and he just shakes his head. And Millie's remember what he said to her the first time. Vaffanculo. No, I'm kidding. It's pericolo. Italians are so offended right now. I'm sorry. Pericolo means danger. When Millie finally got to cleaning, it took her 7 hours to clean up the frat party mess. And when she finally gets to breathe, Cece appears and she's hungry. Cece is not interested in having a conversation with Millie. All she says is, I don't know. Stop asking me what I like to eat. Just give me food. And she's low-key condescending. When Millie asked her what she likes to read, she says, books. The kind with words. So Millie just fixes her something, a snack. Peanut butter and banana crackers. The two things that she found in their pantry. Ta-da! Peanut butter and banana crackers. Cece snaps. I'm allergic to peanut butter. Are you trying to kill me? Mommy, the maid tried to hurt me with peanut butter. Nina runs down the stairs and takes Cece into her arms, and she asks Millie if it's true. I told you about her allergies. This is unacceptable, Millie. She did not. Nina did not once mutter the word that her daughter is allergic to peanut butter. But even if she was, why would they leave a jar of peanut butter in their pantry just like that, front and center? You can't say that. You can't argue with her. So Millie just apologizes and she says it will never happen again. Maybe she was in the wrong. Maybe she should have checked with Nina even though she didn't say anything. Millie asks, do you want me to throw away the peanut butter in the pantry? Nina replies with, no, better not. We might need it. Also, when will dinner be ready? Did not know that light cooking meant preparing dinner. Nina did not say anything about preparing dinner. I'm not sure which Millie she had been talking to because this Millie is not getting the memo, but Millie just winks at 7 o'clock and Millie has dinner ready by 6:45. Oof! Marinated chicken breast fills the kitchen and it smells amazing. A minute later, Andrew walks into the room and he's doing this, if Millie was a cartoon, there would be stars on top of her head like, ooh, he is handsome. And Andrew seems so kind, The food smells amazing. Everything is so clean. And he also asks Millie, did you have a good first day? I did. You have a beautiful home. Well, Andrew is not your bestie. You can't just go like, oh my god, let me tell you, your wife just went crazy on me today. You keep that to yourself. Then Nina comes into the kitchen. She wears nothing but white. Keep that in mind. It's very weird. Millie then remembers seeing a photo of Nina and Andrew years ago, and she did not look how she looks like now. We are not talking about aging, wrinkles, and all of that. We are talking like vibe. Like she had less makeup on and she wore more casual clothes and she was thinner. Now she's a completely different person. And Andrew, though, he looks the same. Nina approaches Andrew and he just compliments her, telling her that she looks beautiful as usual. And they're telling each other, I missed you. No, I miss you more. No, I miss you more. What the? Get it over with. They look to Millie and Andrew just being nice again, just teasing Nina, saying that, my wife is just hopeless in the kitchen. I'm so glad that you're here. And Millie's like, what? Are you stupid? You should not be comparing women, especially me, to your wife in front of her. Andrew then asks Millie if she would join them for dinner, but she says no because she knows that Nina does not want her at their dinner table. So she goes to her room and finally, first day at work and first day in a long time that she would be able to stretch out her legs when she sleeps. This is not the Ritz, but it's such a upgrade from her car. She can even use the toilet. It's just right next door. And you know how like sometimes we just like wake up in the middle of the night and it's always almost witching hour. Millie wakes up around 3:45 and it's still dark inside her room, and for a second she forgot where she was and she forgot that she started working for Nina and she panics. But when everything finally registers, she relaxes, she stands up and she heads for the door. Millie grabs the doorknob and turns, but it does not budge. And she starts to panic. Why is the door locked? Why would they lock me in here? Why did Nina lock me in here? Did she actually do a background check and found that if they did something to me, nobody would know and nobody would miss me? Is this all just some sort of sick game? Were they just looking to trap somebody in here? Who was the last person trapped here and left these scratch marks? Wait. Then she thinks to herself, she has a phone. She could call 911. She runs to her bed, grabs her phone. No signal. There's literally nothing that she could do. So she goes for one more try and she holds the doorknob. It quickly turns it hard and it finally opens. After all, she was not locked in here, but she just can't explain that uneasy feeling that is still there, that her instinct is telling her you should get out of here while you still can. Day 2 of working for the Winchester, it's not looking so good, okay? Nina is practically trying to renovate their newly renovated kitchen by destroying it. Pots and pans everywhere, broken dishes, food on the floor. She takes the milk and just chug it like she's throwing a baseball. Millie sees her and she says, Nina? And Nina turns around, freaks out. Where is it? Where's what? My notes. I left my notes for the PTA meeting tonight right here on this kitchen counter. Now they are gone. What did you do with them? Nina's head, as she's telling Millie this, is inside the fridge. She's looking for her notes inside the fridge. Why would it be inside the fridge? Millie's thinking about that. But also, if she crumpled some sort of paper, she might have threw it away. But there was not any notes or paper on there. So Millie tells Nina that she did not do anything with notes or whatsoever. And Nina tells her, so you are saying that my notes just walked away. I left them right here. And she slams her hand on the kitchen counter. And now my notes gone. Vanish. Nada. Andrew hears this because it's loud. He comes down the stairs and wait, Nina, wait, hold up. Your hubby, though, he's wearing a dark suit and he's fixing his tie. He's always doing that. He's always wearing ties to work and he's even more handsome than yesterday. How can a man look even more attractive today than yesterday? Does that sentence work? I don't know. Millie threw out my notes for the meeting tonight. Millie's like, oh my god, Nina, wait, hold on, I did not do that. Andrew is like, okay, don't you have some of your notes saved on the computer? Why don't you just use that instead? Nina then glares at Millie and she says, you can clean up this disgusting mess that you left in my kitchen while I fix this problem. And she leaves. Millie tries to explain herself to Andrew, but he is so understanding. He's like, don't worry about it. I know it's not a problem at all. Nina is just very high strung right now, but I want you to know that she's a good person. He even offers to get the bucket and the map for Minnie. Why do I keep calling her Minnie? Millie. Minnie, right? Wait, what? Millie. But back to Andrew though. This net worth dude knows exactly where the WAP is. This is supposed to be a thriller book. Get yourself together. Oh my god. I'm not a good narrator for this. And then Millie went to the grocery store because Nina did a huge renovation. She got so much food and it's so heavy. Enzo is there, so Enzo just carried things for her. And Millie says, gracias. Enzo was like, vaffanculo. No, just kidding. He was like, no, grazie. Say it with me, love. Grazie. Enzo's hot. And he's like the terrifying sort of hot. Like he could star in a mafia movie, especially with the Antonia tattoo on his right bicep. Wait, pericolo, danger. Millie suddenly remembers, danger in your pants. I'm kidding. This is a thriller book. It's not danger there, but Enzo seems very uncomfortable. He doesn't like to stay inside the house, but before Millie could process his presence, he's already again walking back to the front door. He's just going back to his work. Nina hears some voices, so she comes down and asks Millie if she was having company. If you want to have any guests over, I expect you to ask permission and give us at least 2 days notice, and I would ask you to keep them in your room. That is what Nina tells her. We are not throwing a party in this haunted outside locking attic, okay? Millie tells Nina that it's just Enzo, and Nina looks very unhappy about it. I don't want him inside this house. He is filthy from working outside. I work very hard to keep this house clean. It feels weird. It feels like a lie because Enzo did not leave a mess. But what can you say? Maybe there's something wrong with Nina. Maybe she's just paranoid about people knowing too much about her family's business. Maybe it's something else. Tonight is Nina's PTA meeting. Tonight is also the first time that Millie would be able to have alone time with Andrew and Cecilia. Cece does not listen to Millie at all, but she listens to Andrew. Andrew gets Cece from her room, and you would never catch Cece in normal kids' clothing. She's always like a Victorian doll. Cece takes a seat at the table and she asks Millie, "Why did you give me water? I hate water. Get me apple juice." Millie gets the juice and Cece takes the cup, looks at it and says, "This glass is not clean. Get me another." Millie says, "It's clean. It just came out of the dishwasher." "It's smudge. I don't want it. Get me another." What do you do if you were Millie? You just do it. While Millie is in the kitchen trying to get another cup of juice, she sees Andrew approaching the dinner table. You see, men is something that Millie is trying to learn, okay? Quote, how to navigate in my after prison time, and by learning I mean, of course, completely avoiding it. We find out more information about why Millie went to prison. When she went to prison. She was 17 when she went to prison. She knew that after she got out, she would want to have a relationship with a man, but just not now. However, when she sees Andrew, all she sees is her ideal man, except not married. Then there's Enzo, you know, there's the only two men in her lives. He is hot, Enzo, but Andrew is more her type, right? Successful, sweet, loyal, full teeth, so kind, so handsome. Enzo, though, he's hot. He could help release some tension, though, right? That's what she thinks. Back to the dinner table. Cece is petrified that they're having steak for dinner. So Andrew goes and make chicken nuggets for Cece. Apparently, Cece only eats chicken nuggets. Andrew tells Millie, "See, this is the brand of chicken nuggets that she likes. And the nuggets have to be also dinosaur shaped. If it's not, if there's any defects, they don't have 4 legs, it must be rejected." And she likes to have exactly 5 nuggets at a time. All that jazz. But you know what Andrew is giving? He's really giving the perfect husband, the perfect dad vibe. Nina and Cece are so lucky to have him. After that, Andrew offers Millie to join them for dinner, but she knows again that if Nina comes back from that meeting and see them having dinner, she would not be so happy. So she just says, "You know what, I'll just go to my room, it's fine." After 1 week of working for the Winchester, she cannot stand the mother and daughter duo. The only sane person here is Andrew. And the problem is that he's not always around. Nina has good days and bad days. Today she's giving Millie her old clothes. She's so being nice, telling Millie that she was cleaning her closet and these clothes had gotten too small for her and she should take her old clothes because, Millie, you don't have any nice clothes. They would look amazing on you. I insist. Yes, there's a pack of white clothes because Nina only wears white clothes in a garbage bag. How nice of Nina. Millie just thanks Nina, tells her that, "Oh my god, you're so generous, but if you ever want it back, just let me know." Nina was like, "What? Oh my god, no. I don't think I'll ever lose weight anytime soon. We are having a baby." Apparently, they are trying for a baby and is expecting to have a little one around the house next year. They're going to appointment, checkup, and all of that, and they seem to be doing everything they can to have a kid together. Anyway, please enjoy the clothes. Also, you wanted a key to your room, right? Here you go. Nina hands Millie the key, and Millie thought, now would be a good time to tell Nina about the window. Oh, and one more thing. It's just the window doesn't open. It seems like it's painted shut. It's a fire hazard, probably. Nina's like, "I don't think so, but you know what? I'll have someone to look at it for you. But Millie, I'm happy to give you my clothes, but please don't leave that garbage bag lying here on the floor. It's bad manners." Girl, you are hot 1 second and cold another. She is very much unpredictable. The lingering question in Millie's mind is, why is she like this? This is exactly what we will explore for many more chapters to come. One day, as Millie is cleaning, she wanders up to the second floor, to the master bedroom, the master bathroom to be specific. First thing first, it's very messy. There's towels on the floor, there's toothpaste on the basin. Well, all this is not as bad as the other day, she found a bloody tampon on the floor. While cleaning, Millie sees this medicine cabinet. She opens up the cabinet and there's a lot of medication inside. And suddenly you hear, "Millie, are you in there?" Nina bursts into the bedroom to find Millie in their bathroom. "How do you clean the sink?" Millie's like, I use this sink cleaner. Is it organic? I prefer to use organic products. I feel like you are not doing a good job cleaning the sink. Can I just watch how you are doing it? I would like to see what you are doing wrong. Millie actually shows Nina how she cleans her sink. Then she says, "I guess the real question is how you are cleaning the sink when I'm not watching you. But, I don't have all the time. Just do your thing." Nina is creepy, whatever. Millie goes back to snooping her medicine cabinet and she takes out her phone and search. It's an antipsychotic medication. There was not just this one medication. There are so many bottles. What exactly did Millie get herself into? Millie does not look for trouble. They come to her. So she continues her work, and while she's vacuuming, guess who's at the backyard? It's Enzo. It looks like Enzo has been around for some time now. So she thought that, I'll just ask him if he has any information on Nina. Millie tries to ask him, but the problem is that he does not speak English. But it looks like he knows something and he's hiding it. He doesn't want to tell her something. 3 weeks after working for the Winchester family, she has to meet up with her parole officer. So she does that. Remember, she has to show this parole officer that she's doing well, she's not in any sort of trouble. The meeting actually goes well. She's quite friendly with this parole officer, but if there's anything to take away from this meeting, is that she tells Millie that having a job, having a shelter, they are very important, but having human connections are even more important. Millie wants to have a connection with a guy, with a man, or even be in a relationship, but when she's thinking about all of this, all she could think about is Andrew Winchester. That night, Millie gets to experience just a teeny tiny bit of that boyfriend experience, Netflix and chill. Millie thought that it would be a good idea to use the Winchester's living room. Flattest, largest TV. The Winchester, they go to bed very early. Nobody uses the TV at 1 in the morning. So she heads down to the living room, gets comfortable on the 5-figure sofa that we keep talking about, and she puts on Family Feud. Millie enjoys the show. She's been watching it since young, and she imagined going on the show, but the problem is that she cuts ties with her family already. So is that Family Feud? It's Andrew. Millie's like, "Oh my god, this is a mistake," and she immediately apologizes, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I should not be here." But Andrew says, "What are you sorry for? You live here too. You have every right to watch the TV." Millie, upon hearing that, she calms down a little bit and she realizes she's not wearing a bra and she's in her gym shorts, which is quite short. So she grabs a pillow to cover herself. "It's fine to use our monitor, Millie. You probably won't get much reception up there anyway. I'll be out of your hair in a minute. I'm just trying to get a glass of water." Did you hear what he said? He said that you would not get much reception up there. Isn't it weird that the attic has no reception? I think it's kind of weird. So Andrew gets his water. After he does that, he just sits next to Millie, and Andrew seems like a very chill dude. Again, he's the only sane person in this house, and he's like, "Oh, I'm hungry. Is there any leftover in the fridge?" He's really chill. No, there's no leftover. So she's getting more and more comfortable with Andrew and next to her. Andrew continues, "Would it be bad manners if I eat some peanut butter right out of the jar?" peanut butter. Millie immediately thinks of Cecilia. She's like, well, do it, but don't do it in front of Cece. And he's shocked. He's like, what do you mean? Millie then tells him, your daughter is allergic. And he laughs and he says, no, she's not. I think I would know if Cece, my daughter, were allergic to peanuts. Anyway, do you think that we would keep a big jar of it in the pantry if she were allergic? Millie is thinking, right? That's what I thought. Like, the only reason that it would be front and center in the pantry is if the allergic is not deadly, or if it's not true. After this, they just continue watching the show. They guess the answers together. They are laughing. They're having a good time. And Andrew just really so chill, so down to earth, and so funny. And she feels sorry for him because you got Nina. Did I tell you what he was wearing? He's wearing a white... My nose is so itchy. I'm telling you, I'm not picking my nose. I'm just trying to scratch like the side of my nose. Andrew is wearing white undershirt and underwear. His undershirt. Something is with the material in this. Okay, all the men, all their clothes are thin because you can see the muscles. Oof. Millie thinks to herself, he could do a lot better than Nina. I wonder if he knows it. Gosh, what's the big joke that you are laughing about down here? It's Nina. She's standing at the stairs. They didn't know that she was there, and she's just staring at them. Like I said, she's always dressed up. She's always in white. She's wearing the usual white nightgown. You two seem to be having a lot of fun. What's the joke about? Andrew tells her, I came down to get some water and Millie was here watching TV. I got distracted by Family Feud. Millie, why don't you get a TV for your own room? This is the family room. Andrew tries to, comfort Nina, but she's not having it. So Andrew goes to bed and Millie turns off the TV. But just before she leaves, Nina tells her, in the future, I expect you to wear appropriate attire around the house. Millie immediately apologizes. I'm so sorry. I didn't think that anyone would be awake. Really? Would you just wander around any stranger's house in the middle of the night because you assume that they won't be around? Please stay up in the attic after bedtime. The rest of the house is for my family. Honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure how much we need a maid. Maybe this was a mistake, Millie. This cannot happen. Millie needs this job. Nina cannot feel threatened by her. She immediately tells Nina, listen, Nina, there's nothing that's going on between me and Andrew. And Nina's like, what? Hold on, pause. You thought that he would risk everything that we have for you. You, the servant who sleeps in the attic. Girl, we have a commitment together. We have a child together, and we are expecting more. Get over yourself and don't forget that. Nina goes back to bed, and Millie hears the bedroom door shut, and she takes Andrew's glass because, he does not clean after himself. They have a maid for a reason. She just takes his glass, and there's just this anger boiling inside of her, and she slams it to the ground, and immediately she's like, oh, well, that was stupid. Because if Nina finds out, who knows how she's going to react, especially after what happened tonight. The next morning, Nina is throwing a small PTA party meeting in the backyard. A PTA party, it's gonna happen in the afternoon, and there's a bunch of things that Millie needs to do. And every single morning, the house is it's so nasty. And she's like, how the fork does this happen? It was clean when I went to sleep. It's like every single night, there's a silent fret party going on. The PTA party, there's so many things that she needs to do. There's just like, hors d'oeuvres. I'm just gonna call it starters because it's like this. And she cannot be cleaning and be driving to pick up those fancy bread, right? She's so stressed that she's about to cry. Andrew sees her and Andrew's like, Millie, are you okay? You look like you're about to cry. Millie tells him that she is very stressed, and he says, These PTA women, let me tell you, they're never going to be satisfied no matter what you do. They're just all so awful. Here's some tissue. I can't believe I have actually tissue with me. Why not you tell me? What can I do to help you? Millie then asked if he could help her pick up those fancy bread. And he's like, consider it done. He's so loving towards the people around him. He treats Nina so well, tells her that she's beautiful, she has a good heart. He's just so attentive towards everyone. Even towards Cece, like he knows exactly what sort of nuggets she likes, how many. Even when Cece came out in the middle of the planning PTA party thing and told him that she needs help with her computer, he's like, sure, Cece, but first, you know what we're gonna do? We are gonna go on a little road trip and it's going to be super fun. Pick up the horse starters. Millie just can't help but compliment him. You are so good with her. She looks a lot like you. This is when we find out from Andrew that Cece is not his biological daughter, despite Nina saying that they have a child together. Cece is from Nina's previous, we can call partner, right? You can call him that. But Andrew is the only father figure Cece has known since she was born, and he treats her like his own. He thinks that kids are so great and he wishes to have a dozen of them. He wants a football team of kids as giving that. So that explains Nina saying that they are expecting another child next year. But the bloody tampon, Andrew feels like he wants to tell Millie more, and they are at this is where their relationship is going. It feels like Andrew can open up to her, and Millie feels like Andrew is the only sane person here. So it's sort of feel like mutual, right? Andrew heads out to grab the horse appetizer. He comes back and it's just time for the meeting. This party has 4 people, including Nina. There's Jillian, Patrice, and Suzanne. The whole time that they are having the luncheon, because it feels less like a meeting and more like a gossip luncheon, to be honest, Millie is just standing there as servants do, you know. Not my waitressing nightmare kicking in, you know. As Andrew predicted, these women are not happy. They are unhappy about the field day menu. Okay, it's not gluten-free, it's not vegan. And why is the horse appetizer being lukewarm? Nina is like, I know, I asked my maid to take care of it, but you know how it is. It's so hard to find good help. Millie is standing right there. She can hear and see everything, but they continue the conversation as if she's not there. They start talking about Enzo and how like Enzo is so hot. So obviously the sentiment is different. Millie asks Nina, do you want me to heat up the horse appetizers? Millie, we are having a conversation here. Please don't interrupt. It's so rude. Also, I would thank you not to refer me as Nina. I'm not your drinking buddy. It's Mrs. Winchester. Don't make me remind you again. What the F? Like, what is wrong with you, Nina? Is she trying to make her look crazy? What's happening? But they move on. They start talking about how Nina looks like she's gaining some sort of weight and how her and Andrew are trying to have a baby. And at this, Nina's eyes looks kind of moist. It looks like she's upset, like she wants to cry. So she excuses herself. Was she upset because of the weight comment, or is it because she's not actually pregnant and she knows it?